Right, well, we're now in the top of the oast to look at the old Marden Church organ. And of course, before we could put the organ in here, we had to move the press. That is what we're looking at the moment, the hot press.
I wonder what was in the corner.
Which would press the pockets. The hops would be dried on the kilns here, emptied out, brought out on big sort of nets, claws, lifter claws, laid on the floor here to cool, and then pressed up there, when they were suitably cool, into hot pockets. That is a hot pocket there, the old traditional type of pocket, which was Hessian, printed with the grower's name.
Is that your father's name?
That's my father's name. This is what we get now.
Oh, so they're still the same sort of hot pockets?
Same thing, yeah. They're propylene made.
I gather you've stopped doing hops now?
We've stopped doing hops. This one actually from a farmer in the village. Some of our, we have still got a few of ours left over of these types.
I'm intrigued by the pew.
Yes, the pew, actually, I'm not sure quite where that came from. It was a friend of my son's, I think.
No.
A local vicar who knew we'd got the old organ from Marden Church, which actually came out of the church in 1967, decided that we ought to have a harvest festival evensong here. And here we have a few service sheets left over, and we actually filled the whole host full. Normally he gets half a dozen to evensongs. We had between 80 and 90 here. Just one or two standing. There was an odd seat still left, but it was absolutely packed. Yes, mine. Oh, that, yes.
The remains of a
Well,
tuba.
that is,
You're obviously a musical family, I can tell looking at things like that.
That is the last remaining instrument that's known to survive from the old Marden brass band.
Oh, there was a Marden brass
There
band?
was, yeah.
And were you part of that?
No.
It
no,
wasn't like the Frittenden brass band, was it?
That is an East Peckham drum, I think.
So you're connected to the East Peckham Silver Band somewhere?
Well, my wife is very well into that.
I think we're going to have a talk to her
We're
later.
going to have a talk to her in a minute.
Meanwhile, over you've got it,
Well,
someone else bought it.
Julian Hopper, my good friend who helps with the work on the cars, he bought it. His wife is quite a musician, but of course there was nowhere to put it up. For a bit, he decided then, his wife is one of the Granston family, and they're builders in Sittingbourne. They had at the time got the local school being redeveloped. And they actually put it up in the school, put it all to bits and had a little concert there, but of course it couldn't stop there because they'd got to redevelop the school. So it had to come out, it was then going to go for scrap unless somebody did something. So I had a measure up and I heard about it and I said, if it will go in here, we'll clear this place out and we'll try and put it up in here. And of course that's why we moved the press out there, because there's a wall under there, it's a heavy thing. And we fiddled it into here. It took quite a lot of work to take it all down and put it back up again. Fantastic, really. That is the swell organ.
Okay.
You've got this lot, because actually all this is all ornamental. A lot of this is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. The pipes that do the work are all up in, well, come here. If you look in there, that's where all the pipes that do the work are. There's
Oh,
14
so all these big organs you see with the big pipes.
a lot of that is
it's rubbish.
ornamentation, yeah. A lot of it is. This is what they call tracker action. So in other words, you press the note and it pulls a lever and it ends up via a series of levers and wire opening a valve. Empty, I should think.
By Harvey and Co. When was it made?
The actual original instrument goes back to 1852 and it's the second oldest Willis organ known to exist. But it was added to, so you've got the great and the swell.
Oh, of course they used to get people that donate bits, weren't they?
Yeah, here you will see the two manuals and of course the foot pedals. Here's all the stops. This switches it on. It actually was in Marden, except for the last 8 or 10 years, it was always hand pumped. The last few years. Interesting. At Marden we had a lady organist, a Miss Judge, who was a very exacting lady. And of course, in order to protect her modesty, we had this modesty on the bench so that her legs were not viewed by the congregation. And it's amazing that it survived.
Things like that make that's a nice story. I see the lot of the pipes got dents in them.
Well,
I gathered they were laid across beams.
They were laid across beams in an asbestos barn because the heat and our tin pipe, the heat on that roof in the summertime distorted them. We had quite a job of straightening them up again.
That would be make a real fortune to do it properly. Can we hear it running?
Yes.
Right, started up. Well, the engine runs.
Around the back here, I'll put the light on. You can see something. That is the swell organ. You've got this lot. When
To
they
trace each thing through, wouldn't you?
when they originally put it up, they got everything up together, and they seem to have got the bellows left. When they consulted a book, they decided that you start with the bellows. It all had to come to bits again to get the bellows in first. Are the bellows with the weights, and Tom Mason, as you know, where the scrap, unfortunately used a lot of the weights for tractor weight on his old tractor in the scrapyard. Luckily, we were able to rescue some of them. Here's the W for Willis on the original weights.
Oh, that's so you've got patterns at least.
Yeah, but we managed to get a few from East Farley,
So
West Farley
what
Church.
exactly do the weights do?
Well,
they push the bellows
push
back.
the bellows down a bit faster, you see, according to how much
Give some pressure
weight
on
you've
it.
got.
Oh,
there.
I see.
We've got a few from West Farley Church scrapped their organ, and we got a few more weights from there. That's got the H on it, which is this particular note we couldn't get in properly, so we had to cut it and splice it.
I like
the beam.
It still works okay.
Because of the
does it?
beam, yeah, it does, yeah. Adjusted by here, you see, and the metal notes, we've got some here that we didn't put in. See, these are some of the damaged ones we never put. Some of these we just couldn't rescue enough, and we got enough
You got
ranks that we couldn't put them all in. Mainly the trumpets, which are hanging on the beam there. The trumpets will go out of tune the same day that you tune them, nearly. That's that sensitive.
Yeah.
And apparently, at the Albert Hall or anywhere, they have to be tuned that day
Oh, really?
if there's going to be a recital.
How do they tune them? What, pushing the slides up?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tiddling about there or
So
altering
it's
there.
quite tedious. Time
Yeah.
All these signatures on here, are they?
Like that choir boys that pumped, you see.
Like Elvis
Because when it was
Presley.
in the church, all this
Frederick
backing was on here behind you. This would have been boarded in
Yeah.
with these.
Yeah.
But in order to, when we have a concert, occasionally one of these breaks or something, a note goes, gets all a bit fragile. But here's the old hand pump, which dear old Bert Lucas used to pump away to fill the bellows up. You see, the motor's in that box. Well, it's been here 10 years now. Here's the slot where the handle went
Oh, I see,
in
yeah.
for pumping,
Yeah.
you see. One of the lads who wrote quite a lot here was a very good friend of ours, Roger Altringham. And every Good Friday, us boys used to play the village roughs, football, on Good Friday, down at the Marden football ground.
Yeah.
Most years we lost, but one year we won. So it's recorded up here. This team beat the Roughs. But his name is on there.
So
It was
you
in-
actually remember the organ when it was in use in the church?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah. It came out in '67. I remember it being taken to bits. Yeah. I did help pump it occasionally. But though I was never in the choir, but sometimes we had to go to Sunday school or catechism or something. We used to have to be somebody to come.